Well, after several days of nice weather, the clouds and rain are returning to central Arkansas. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Jurnee Taylor, here with meteorologist Simone Thomas. And Simone, what are we getting prepared for?
Well, already we're starting to see that rain moving into western and southwestern Arkansas by this afternoon, starting to see more of that rain coverage expanding into central Arkansas. So through the afternoon, especially if you're somebody that has to pick the kids up from school, make sure you're weather aware. Now, here's a look at where that rain is right now. Again, just in western and southwestern Arkansas, we do have that flood watch in effect for the southern 3 rows of counties through tomorrow morning. Now, through this afternoon, kind of closer to home in central Arkansas, that cloud cover is increasing. We're going to see that rain moving in again around the time you would be getting ready to pick the kids up from school. We'll talk more about the rest of this evening as well as the week ahead coming up in your 7-day outlook, so make sure you stick around.
All right, Simone, thank you. Well, now at noon, we're working to learn more about an overnight shooting in Lonoke County. England police and the county sheriff's office responded to an area near Southeast 2nd Street around 9:45 last night. Now, that's just the west area of U.S. Highway 165 and State Highway 15 intersection. They tell us they found a man injured and immediately started life-saving measures. They got him to the hospital and he is in critical condition. Investigators have not named a suspect at this time. We're learning more about the charges that landed a former Hot Spring County sheriff back in jail. Before his arrest on Friday, Scott Finkbeiner was out of jail awaiting sentencing for lying to the FBI. He pleaded guilty after his arrests in 2023. Prosecutors accused him of buying and using drugs with a person he said was his confidential informant, but was actually under surveillance by the FBI. Now, the pretrial for the man accused in a triple murder spree in Oklahoma that ended in a manhunt here in Arkansas continues today. Stacey Lee Drake was arrested in Morrilton last June. He's back in Sequoyah County, where he's facing several charges in connection to 3 deaths. Drake is back in court today, where prosecutors continue to call witnesses as they work to move the case to trial. The plan to build a new prison in Franklin County continues to receive pushback from lawmakers and locals. Republican State Senator Brian King held a press conference yesterday in hopes of convincing the governor to find a new location or new solution to deal with prison overcrowding. King represents parts of Franklin County, and yesterday he was joined by several people living in the area who say they do not want the prison in their county.
Most of our citizens are usually for jail expansion or prison expansion. That's never been the issue for a lot of us. A lot of us, the issue is the site.
Senator King wants the governor and the Board of Corrections to take the $75 million approved for the new facility and use it to expand the Calico Rock prison instead. But Senate President Bart Hester pushed back on that idea. He says the Franklin County plan is already underway and the $75 million is more than enough to get started.
Ample money to do the architecture, engineering, hopefully some dirt work plans, and really give the legislature a firm number on what this prison looks like. I think with that firm number, we'll have the appropriation to continue on.
THV 11 recently sat down with Governor Sanders and asked her about the plan, and pushback. She doubled down, saying she still thinks the project is the right idea and the Franklin County location is the best place to build it. President Trump is criticizing the U.S.-Canada trade relationship ahead of a meeting with Canada's new prime minister. Trump said the U.S. doesn't need anything from Canada, while Canadians need everything from the U.S. Natalie Brand has more on the strained relations with America's second largest trading partner.
Canada's new Prime Minister Mark Carney has not shied away from criticizing President Trump. He was elected in part for pledging to stand up to the administration.
I go there with the expectation of constructive, difficult but constructive discussions.
As a top trade partner, tariffs are expected to be at the top of the agenda.
I'm not sure what he wants to see me about, but I guess he wants to make a deal. Everybody does.
But as recently as Monday, the president's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick signaled negotiations will be complicated.
They have their socialist regime, and it's basically feeding off of America. I mean, the president calls that out all the time. Why do we make cars in Canada? Why do we do our film homes in Canada? Come on.
Business leaders say not reaching an agreement is not an option since the North American economies are intertwined.
If the issue is of a trade deficit, which we can dispute whether there is or isn't one, but let's address what actually needs to be addressed and not morph all kinds of other issues to make this more complicated.
Goldie Hyder of the Business Council of Canada says he hopes today's meeting serves as a reset.
Business loves certainty and predictability, and unfortunately what's been created is uncertainty and unpredictability.
Under former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Canada announced retaliatory tariffs on tens of billions of dollars of U.S. goods. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And among the dozens of U.S. products being impacted by Canadian tariffs are orange juice, bourbon, beer, and wine, as well as peanut butter, clothing, and even motorcycles. Well, voters in several cities are headed to the polls for special elections, looking to tackle a number of issues. Early voting is now underway in areas like North Little Rock, Bryant, Searcy, and Pope County. It wraps up next Monday with Election Day set for Tuesday, May 13th. We've covered the proposals on ballots in each of these areas, and you can learn more about them on THV11.com.